Greetings from the Desert Botanical Garden in Phoenix, Arizona. Today is Monday, March 4th, 2024. It is 9:06 a.m. Mountain Time and a very cool 56 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm outside in the parking lot. I haven't actually entered yet, but just wanted to give a view outside the parking lot. You can see the various rocks. This is a big part of, I'm probably mispronouncing it, but like Papago Park. But the Desert Botanical Garden seemed to be one of the places that got exceptional reviews of like, oh, great to see. And since I'm not going to be exploring like hikes out in the actual desert look, I thought it'd be cool, to see these cacti and cactus in full force and see how that looks. I think it would give me a good flavor of Arizona and the type of plants that are out here. So I'm going to go ahead and walk up and go to the ticket spot, and then I'll resume the video after that. Alright, now I am inside the Desert Botanical Gardens. You can see there's a piece of artwork here. I think they have some of these throughout that exchange over time. I don't think it's a permanent thing, but over there would lead us to the butterfly exhibit. We're going to hit that part of the trail or gardens toward the end because they said the butterfly exhibit opens at 9:30. And right now it is 9:15, but the person also advised me that like the butterflies don't quite come out in full force when it's cooler weather out. They wait till it gets a little bit hotter. So he said, yeah, you might as well hit that one on your way out as opposed to like starting off there. But yeah, this just all looks cool being embedded. And all these cactus plants or whatever they're called. So you can see on the map here, I think this is where we're currently at, and we're going to be going around the loop, and then there's several offshoot trails that you can hit.
Report back. No, just as we go in.
I think Fernando Botero is the artist for those sculptures. And then this looks to be the beginning of the loop. How cool looking is that hill up there with the big tall cacti? funny because a lot of times in Cleveland or other places you have the botanical gardens and they have small sections dedicated to like cactus or cacti, and you're like, oh, look at this. And then you've got this where like everything is cactus related. So this one is the Center for Desert Living Trail. Edible garden. Well, the nets are there to prevent birds from eating up the growth. I think this just gives you a vibe of what it would be like to live in a, you know, sort of a backyard feel. Like if you were decorating your backyard and could have it set up like that, designed for well-being, provide a place to relax, meditate, and rejuvenate from our daily lives.
Yeah. And at 18 to 55, that's a lot of flexibility.
All right, let's get back to the main trail now. Landscape for life, and again it's talking about selecting plants for your landscape. Over here it says giant Mexican cardon. Look up, the cardon towering over you is one of the garden's very first plants, more than 75 years old. It says it's actually the tallest cactus in the world since 1939. Look how thick I mean, it looks like a tree trunk. A lot of these are historic. The Oregon pipe cactus. The toothpick cactus. Would you dare pick your teeth with the spines of this cactus? Look closely to see the toothpick-like spines, even closer to see its unusual crested center. Just imagine how these things could be used as like murder weapons. I don't know why my mind went to that, but like I'm just imagining. Look at that, there's a bird nestled in between there, using it as the nest. But just seeing those pricklers, just imagine if you got stuck with that, I'd be like excruciating pain, I imagine. Like, I imagine they're firm. I don't think they're like, touch them and they're soft. Okay, so let's see if this is. Trying to think what offshoot trail this is. Probably could take out my map that they gave me and look. Archer House. So we went to the Center for Living. I think we're on this tan path here, which does it explain what it is? Yeah, I'm not sure. Because this, I believe, is probably the Webster Center. Oh no, it says Patio Cafe. Yeah, which is the same thing, Patio Cafe. I think this just is the Patio Cafe that goes over here. You do get a nice picture of those cacti in the mountain, but I think the next trail is actually going to let us weave in and out of it. There's also restrooms here. Alright, let's continue our exploration. Record your wildlife sightings. Earlier I thought I saw either the little squirrel or the rabbit tail. It's interesting, they're saying there could be a desert tortoise. This is what I don't want to see. Okay, here is the Sonoran Desert Nature Loop Trail, 1/4 of a mile. For distance viewing. I'll be happy if I see a desert tortoise, not a snake. If I see a snake, you'll see me run as fast as I can. Does the barrel cactus contain water? Yes, but it is not free flowing. It's interesting because, you know, sometimes you see those TV shows or movies where it's like they find a certain cactus and it's like, oh my god, it's a water source. Let's see here. Why is the saguaro cactus growing under the Palo Verde tree? The tree sheltered to saguaro when it was seeding. Birds accidentally drop saguaro seeds as they feed the fruit to their young. So you see the birds like in the tree, they drop the seeds. The tree acts as a nurse plant for the baby, and then studies suggest that the saguaro will eventually cause the tree to die. How about that? It's like it helps give birth and shelter to it, and eventually it's going to cause this tree to die off. You can sort of see, like, oh, not sort of, you can see the end of the Desert Botanical Garden, because beyond that it's like a parking lot and various buildings. I think headed that way would be toward Tempe. I guess with this viewfinder you could try to find these mountains. Or spot these landmarks. You can definitely see that one over there. Ribs allow the cactus to expand and contract in response to the amount of moisture it is storing. So it's asking why the cactus have ribs. You can sort of see up and down the cactus where it goes in and out. Why do woodpeckers peck holes in the saguaro cactus to make nesting cavities inside the cactus stems? Got another one of the birds down there. Acotillo or Osotillo, dead or alive? You decide. If it looks like this, it is alive, and even though it looks dead. Its leaves dropped during a dry spell and it's now dormant. This helps it conserve water. Was it referring to this thing? Because I wouldn't think. Oh, you know what? Okay, I get what it's saying. It's probably. See the little leaves on this? I'm guessing that's like when it looks like it's alive, but probably during a certain time it'll like drop all those leaves and it'll just look like a bunch of sticks, so maybe people think it's dead then. I guess that's the transformation it would go through. I know I sometimes blow by a lot of things, but I try to stop for some of the signs to absorb a little bit of fun trivia and nuggets along the way. And by blowing by the signs, I mean like I don't take time to stop and read every single one. The blind, prickly pear. That's a different kind of one. It's like angled to the side with a yellow shape up top. Alright, so we've exited this trail. This is an interesting tree too. It's called the beaked yucca or Yucca rostrata. I like how they have these water fountains throughout. Let's see if it actually works. Hey, it shoots through good. Let's see if it actually is cold water. Yep. Pretty close to ice cold water. This one is the plants and people of the Sonoran Desert Loop Trail. So I think this particular trail, if I recall earlier in what I saw back there, is supposed to contain some huts. Here we have a sign, agave terrace. Typically grow naturally on well-drained rocky slopes. They can withstand soil that has high salinity, high temperatures, intense winds, and drought-like conditions. For these reasons, Native American farmers built terraces and cultivated agaves on them, replicating the way they grow in nature. So I think that's, if I had to guess, that one skinny plant that's I don't know if I'm pointing it out right, but it's like right here. I assume that's what we're looking at. See lots of bees here. Now I don't know if this is supposed to represent like the hut of the, or if it's just a general canopy, like shade canopy for us. Because I don't see any signage here. I thought there would be something kind of describing. I think these are new crops that are being grown. I like seeing the fence that's made up of the oh, maybe this is the intro to that, the Spanish Gardens. But yeah, I like the fence, that how it's constructed like that. Got like a fire pit over here. Agave roasting pit. For centuries, agave has been roasted for food and fibers in pits like this by the people of the Sonoran Desert. Before roasting, the leaves are removed to expose the heart, then sandwiched between the layers of vegetation on top of hot coals and baked for up to 4 days. There we go. This is one of the huts. The Western Apache household. Sort of showing the construction process. Cowboys traveling through the chaparral wear leggings called chaps to protect themselves from the tough vegetation. Yeah, probably the trajectory of this trail, I think I went the opposite way based on how it's designed and the signs are located. They're sort of oriented for you to walk the other way, but that's fine. didn't want to capture heavier population of groups. Looks like those type of plants are helped to use make baskets. Semi-desert grassland. I'm not sure where they'd normally be stationed or if they just go around the area, but I heard earlier that there's like an owl or maybe multiple owls that stay in the area often. Ramada or Vado. The Vado is the focus of many daily activities. A shaded shelter without walls is an ideal place to eat, sleep, and cook food in the desert. Since airflow is unrestricted, it stays much cooler than the ambient temperature. The roof is made of thick layers of arrowweed branches and supported by mesquite poles. The rafters of the roof provide a cool place to store grains and other foods. So I guess the roof, you could store foods in there, but then you also have various things hanging, and this is where you would sleep if you're in the desert. I mean, you definitely can't complain about the shade. I imagine the shade is like a huge difference when you get like those extreme temperatures. And over here it says traditional kitchen, has a low circular wall made of thatched arrowweed that acts as a wind block and provides shade. There's your kitchen if you're in the desert. And that would have been a traditional household. Built this household reconstruction using these types of trees and plants. Households usually have more than one structure, each with a special function. The roundhouse provides privacy, shelter, storage. Kitchen, which has no roof, allows heat. So that's sort of explaining the multiple structures. I mean, you got that, you have the kitchen. So just another sheltered place. This one with the covered, so it's kind of the household is that, and you've got the kitchen area, the shelter and daily activity spot. Three Sisters planting. For centuries, many Native American communities have planted three particular crops together in a way that helps each one survive, known as Three Sisters. Maize, corn, beans, and squash create a balanced diet, and they also help each other grow. And you got an example of irrigation farming, or just talking more so about it. That's something you wouldn't see out in the desert, sprinkler system. A thirsty tree compared to the drought-tolerant Palo Verde that can live with little water in long periods. One cottonwood tree consumes up to 200 gallons of water each day. Desert oasis. Although water is scarce in desert habitats, it can be found in streams, seeps, and springs. Desert oasis like this one supports a rich variety of plants. Cottonwood and willow trees grow alongside the oasis, while cattail grow right in the water. And the oasis plants provide ideal materials for housing. Okay, so I think this is the way I need to go over here.
What was that bird right back here? Did you see him in this tree?
I didn't see what was in the tree.
Alright, so now we've exited this loop, ready to move on to the next spot.
There it is. Oh, maybe if we come over here.
Little piece of artwork here, untitled blue gloss. Not sure quite what it represents.
Oh.
So now we're headed over a little bridge. Looks like there's some construction going on over here. Let me check my map to see where I'm at. Okay, so I think there's an indoor gallery of some form over there. But we're just going to keep walking along the trail here. They're doing some upcoming projects over here that are under construction. So we should be making our way back toward where we first started, and from there then we can check out the butterfly garden, see if we can actually capture the butterflies.
Let's try to go down here. I want to see if I can
I think this is the exit. Yeah, I remember the artwork piece here. So I will pick up the video back when I'm near the front, which shouldn't be too long, but that way I'm not repeating it. Alright, so now we're back at the beginning. And we're going to try to go to the butterfly exhibit. See, it's obviously more crowded now. So it's a mix of the desert wildflower loop trail and the butterfly exhibit. Night blooming garden. Some plants bloom at night to attract nighttime pollinators. Let's head on over to the butterfly exhibit. also cool seeing the shades of color in the desert. Alright, so open daily March 2nd to May 12th. So it just started 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. I think it's in. I thought maybe they said it was going to be inside, like indoors. Which makes sense. Like, how could you contain them outside unless they're within a net enclosure area?
So these guys in nature, you would see them everywhere.
So you got to be careful as you're going around because they're on the ground. You don't want to step on them. Some of them are clinging to the upper portion.
I think I have.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm at exhibit, so.
That's called a white peacock, the one that's on the ground here, on the floor. Yeah.
Did you have this? Oh,
It just came out of the cocoon.
I don't know if you want to give it to her, but
And if I could
That's right.
oh, they do, then throw it out. Then don't give it to her, then throw them out and watch the. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Those jars with the lids, I need them. Those are from. Can you hear me? The snake. Can you freaking listen to me? I'm at the freaking exhibit. You're annoying. Those small jars, small clear ones. When I wash them and put them together with the lid, they are from under sheet. Yes. Look at the fish.
Yeah, I was just
And she gonna let me keep the money for the burning thing? Well, we have the money. It's in the house. She's not getting it. So then she oh, so ask her if she can, if you can borrow from that money. That was you talk to her and say, please, the driving come today at 2 o'clock and he needs to pay. So ask. Whatever. Too late.
I do. Yes, right. You take a picture of the one? Thank you. By your perspective to your green. It's on portrait. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Oh, thank you so much.
Isn't that cool? Still there.
We'll make sure you before I go anywhere.
Hitchhiker, as they call them.
Right?
Cool. You must smell good or something.
I know.
Nectar on your shirt.
There's one in my back.
Just trying to see if there'd be a spot where the butterflies are up close.
Right.
Alright, that was fun. We're right when you first walked in, that's mainly where the butterflies were on the ground. And they told you, I think they said they have like 1,000 butterflies and they're over 1,000. And sometimes they'll land on you, which they were landing on a couple people, like someone's back. And they just stress to be very delicate if you can, or be very delicate with the butterflies. Instead of like, don't just be like brushing them off. They have workers inside with little microfiber things that can nudge them off you.
Ours were tiny. Some of them
So that was the spring butterfly exhibit.
Oh, look at that.
So this should be the only part that we haven't covered, the wildflower trail. I don't think it's too extensive. Salvaged ironwood, the metal box for the ironwood tree, and the 20-foot tall saguaro sculpture were created by artist Jeff Tebbets in honor of his cousin Phil. Saguaro is made from pickheads, actually used to try to salvage native plants.
Hi. Nicholas Andrade has a driving lesson today. I think that you like that. I forgot what form it is. Go ahead.
Uh-oh, the bee garden. Butterfly garden. We already saw the exhibit. This is just a little area with extra information about them. Alright, so that means we've basically covered everything. I will probably do my sign-off video back toward the entrance exit. Alright, well, if you enjoyed this video at the Desert Botanical Gardens, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you next time. Thank you.